Hello viewers, I'm Sir Peter Wright and welcome to this virtual reality experience. Nutcracker has always meant a lot to me since I first saw one act of it in Cambridge. And I turned to my mother and I said, that's for me, that's what I want to do. Dancing should be part of me. And I went into the library and got all books out about ballet and what it was, and I thought, oh, that sounds marvellous. I was desperately trying to think what I was going to do with my future life. And I thought I'm going to be a dancer.
So that's the grand pas de deux.
The Hippodrome were rather keen to have a ballet company resident in Birmingham. I dedicated Nutcracker to the city of Birmingham. I did it because the move there, although hard work, had worked so well, and I wanted to feel that we appreciated what Birmingham did for us. First of all, of course, one had to get the actual company and the dancers, and it was a major move, and it was going to cost a pretty penny. Anyway, we got there, and it was a new and wonderful beginning.
I'm Marion Tate, and I joined the company at the tender age of 17. It was 52 years ago. And I've been with this company, watching it change and metamorphosize over those years into what is now the Birmingham Royal Ballet.
Birmingham Royal Ballet have got productions that are older than me and older than most people at the company. And they're brought out and they still look as fresh and still resonate now more, as much as the day they were created.
I've been conducting Nutcracker for 30 years and largely the same production, which is Sir Peter Wright's production, which he made for Birmingham Royal Ballet when it moved to the city of Birmingham in 1990.
Nutcracker has a delightful story, really, about a young girl at a Christmas party is given a Nutcracker doll, and in her dream, after she goes on a magic journey and meets up with imaginary people from all different lands.
The Nutcracker is very special. It's been going now for 32 years. I cannot believe it.
There's a feeling, a Christmas feeling and a warmth when Nutcracker hits stage.
It's just something that really makes us feel so festive, gets us in the Christmas spirit, and we all can't wait for it to come around again. Hi, my name is Celine Gittins. I'm a principal dancer with the Birmingham Royal Ballet. I started dancing at the age of 3 with my mum, who is a Royal Academy of Dance teacher. My roles in the Nutcracker tend to be the Sugar Plum Fairy and also the Rose Fairy.
When you join a ballet company, there's a list of categories that you aim to reach.
You start as an artist and you work your way up the ranks. The next rank is first artist, then it's soloist, senior soloist, and then principal dancer.
It's interesting when people ask, what would you look for in a dancer? You would think perfect proportions, beautiful feet, long neck for the ladies, strength, fitness. I would put top of my list intelligence and musicality.
The difference between a pre-professional dancer and a professional is that you don't have a coach as much. It's really a responsibility that's taken by the dancer a little bit more when you're a professional and also when you're a leading dancer in the company, and everyone else is looking up to you to see how things are done.
My name is Paul Murphy and I am the principal conductor of the Birmingham Royal Ballet and its orchestra, the Royal Ballet Sinfonia. We are at the Henry Wood Hall in South London, near to Borough Market, a beautiful deconsecrated church. There are many roles for the conductor. Chiefly, I suppose, it's a leadership position. We are in charge of conducting the rehearsals, being in charge of the rehearsal, the dynamic of the rehearsal, the pacing of the rehearsal, the standard. Also, we're in charge of the performance. Conducting an orchestra, in a way, is a bit like driving a sports car. It needs a driver for corners, for acceleration, for slowing down, for speeding up. But it also does an awful lot by itself. When you open it up, it will purr along nicely without you. So it's knowing when it needs you and when it doesn't.
My name is Robert Gibbs. I'm leader of the Royal Ballet Sinfonia, and I've been leading this orchestra for 24 years. I'm responsible for the ensemble of the orchestra and interpreting the beat of the conductor and the gestures of the conductor. And to a certain extent, I'm responsible for the phrasing and the shaping because the conductor is very busy looking after the dancers on stage.
We are a conduit in ballet, particularly for the dancers. The orchestra, in this case the Royal Ballet Sinfonia, have no visual with the dancers. So all they have is either myself or one of my colleagues relating what the dancers are doing to them, but essentially also bringing the music alive.
Certain kinds of players prefer to play later on the beat, and the conductor has a feeling about how they want people to respond.
What we generally say is the right hand is for the tempo and the pattern. The left hand is for the expression. So if I want it to be louder or if I want it to grow, there's more of that sort of gesture. If I want it to be softer, it will be more of that sort of gesture. So this left hand is working fluidly all the way through a performance.
There are times when the conductor is so involved with the stage, catching every movement of the feet, then I have to make the decision how to play a passage. We have this tune which starts pianissimo. Probably the most amazing crescendo in the work is the transformation of the tree.
When that music at the start of the transformation hits, it's the only time I get nervous still to this day. There's actually only two dancers on stage, there's Drosselmeyer and Clara, so at that point we're what people are looking at. My name is Ben Leveson, I'm Technical Manager of Production here at the Birmingham Royal Ballet. Nutcracker is by far and away our biggest production. Over 60 people we have across stage, lighting, on the fly floor, the costume department, the wigs department.
We start the prototyping, we start the fabric hunting and shaping, we start the samples, and then eventually we get to the stage of mass fittings. We'd fit once, we'd fit twice, and sometimes we would just check fit a third time. We'd then end up on stage, we'd go through production week and things would change when it's lit and you're starting to look at it from a distance, and then we open on first night. My name's Elaine Garlick. I'm Head of Costume for Birmingham Royal Ballet. My job is to work with the creative teams on new productions and bring them to stage, and also to manage the department and to work with the teams on the revivals of existing productions.
There's almost times that our productions and the way that the scenery moves is balletic in itself, and so we have this really fantastic chemistry with the dancers that we have at the company to make these productions elevate to the next level.
The Nutcracker is a John McFarlane design. It's one of the first pieces he ever did with Peter Wright.
It was just such a success, my new Nutcracker, and it's been played in Birmingham 30-something years. So we're going to have a brand new, sparkling production.
The sense of pride that I had for myself, my team, the company was just overwhelming.
Becoming a dancer is quite a tough job, and I think you have to go into it with your eyes open.
The day that Peter introduced me as not a principal dancer, but as ballerina, it brings tears to my eyes. I'll never forget that. A dancer, of course, has to tell a story and really be all sorts of different characters. At the same time, of course, they've got to think of their technique and the choreography, but providing they've been rehearsed, they can then, once they get to the stage, purely tell the story through their movement.
You've got to really feel it through your whole body. It's wonderful to do.
Whatever the role, let it be the most important role you have ever done. I know when I first joined the ballet, my first role was a dolly on the box. I was determined that I would be the best dolly on the box ever. And I think a director spots that. It's not long before they realise you have that focus and absolute determination.
Definitely not everyone makes it to the top, not everyone makes it to be a principal dancer, but it's that internal drive and the love of dance that keeps you going.
Some of those roles for ballerinas, particularly, are incredibly demanding. It can be quite dispiriting sometimes, because you really have to love it to stay the course. The way dancers are trained now is so much better. It's much more scientific somehow.
We do turns on point shoes. That in itself is an amazing thing. We're defying gravity, we're defying physics. When we do pas de deux, we do things that you wouldn't even think is possible. And I think that's what makes ballet stand out. So every time I have a performance, I look at it as the first time I'm doing this role and try to make it as special as I can for myself and also for the audience who is watching it.
I think what makes a good orchestral performance for many of us is feeling the music is fresh.
I open it as if I'm opening it for the very first time.
In my time, I've witnessed some very nervous dancers on stage who've had a role created for them, and this is the first time it's going to be seen. And I just go up and remind them they will love it. It's something they've never seen before. So don't get nervous about it, just relish the moment.
It's feeling that audience appreciation after the performance. And when you take your curtain call and the audience is clapping, and you know they've been with you right there through the performance. They've seen you dance, and they really appreciate what you've done on stage, and that applause is just wonderful to experience.
You have just these moments of pure joy and happiness and escapism, and it's such a magical production that we have.
This is a wonderful world that you're viewing. It doesn't matter what you're experiencing at home, what your life is like, it will transport you.
To transport them to another place where they can see the beauty of this art form and really appreciate it. And I think that's what makes this art form so rewarding.
What I love most about ballet is that the whole thing, it takes in music, it takes in design and painting, and it takes in expression. But dance is so much part of my life and has been. Like my 95 years, I've had some very difficult times. Well, I think I've been very lucky to enjoy life, and I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to guide people
It's called an assembly.
as much as I can. And just think, who invented dance? Where did it come from? And it's lovely to do, but you have to work hard. And when we got home and had supper, she said, Peter wants to become a dancer. My father hit the roof, said, no way is my son going to be a sissy boy in the ballet world. And I said, something to do with being sissy. And from that then on, there was trouble. I said, I want to leave at once because I need to train. I'm already too old, really. And he kept saying, you're going to go back to school and then we might consider thinking about it. But from now on, you just forget about all this dancing rubbish. I went back to school and I was so caught up with this, I decided to run away. I ran away also with a girl. She also had good cause to be fed up with school. We shot off one early morning, February, if we please, freezing cold. And we thought that I would dance in the streets and get a few pennies, and she could do lightning sketches. There was no one around, it was so cold. We got later and later, and by that time we'd got down as nearly as far as Bristol and nowhere to go. We didn't know what to do with ourselves. We were quite stupid. We found an old shed in a field which would shelter us a bit, and survived the night and realised what a wrong thing we were doing, wasting everyone's time, and so handed ourselves into the police. The good thing about it is, my father said to me, well, you've done a wretched thing, but I do realise you are determined you're going to be a dancer, so I will support you, but I won't give you any money. That was a very good decision he'd made, because I had to fight for it. I'd heard about this Russian teacher, Vera Volkova, and so I went round to her and asked if I could possibly join the classes. I was accepted to audition, and she looked at me and said, Peter Wright. You're just the sort of dancer, young dancer I'm looking for.